If you guys remember in a previous video, I showed you an astonishing case of video game journalism, and I'm saying astonishing, the fact that it happened. But someone asked Todd Howard, why is it that many people are having problems running Starfield? And his answer was something in the lines of like, you gotta upgrade your computer, just stop being poor. Our game is perfect. Your computer does the problem. You have a 486 upgraded. Something in those lines. But the thing is, I really focused on it because I genuinely despise this explanation. You get to see, especially on Steam, on their forums, usually a game comes out and many people can't run it or they're having problems with bugs. And immediately you're going to get like some page shills that go like, you're just poor, aren't you? And the thing is, if your computer meets the minimum system requirements, you should be able to run the game. Otherwise, it's false advertising. You should be entitled of getting your money back. But now we know that Todd lied. I mean, it's not even that surprising. So, I never knew how the technical know-how works. Like, I didn't know, like, what poorly optimized game looks like. But here we have someone explaining it. So, major programming faults discovered in Starfield's code by a developer. Performance issues are not the result of non-upgraded hardware. So, Starfield allocates its memory incorrectly where it doesn't align with the CPU page size. If your GPU drivers are not robust against this, your game is going to crash at random times. Starfield abuses a DirectX 12 feature called Execute Indirect. One of the things that this wants is some hints from the game so that the graphic drivers knows what to expect. Since Starfield sends in bogus hints, the graphic driver gets caught off guard, trying to process the data and ends up making bubbles in the command queue. These bubbles mean that the GPU has to stop what it's doing, double check the assumptions it made about the indirect execute and start over again. Starfield creates multiple execute indirect calls back to back instead of batching them, meaning that the problem above is compounded multiple times. What really grinds my gears is the fact that the open source community has figured out and came up with workarounds to try to make the game run better. These workarounds are available to view by the public eye, but Bethesda will most likely not care about fixing their broken engine. Instead, they double down and claim that the game is optimized if your hardware is raw enough. Yes, more gas. More gaslighting. This is why the consumer exists. Without the consumer, how could we gaslight? Like, we are a company that loves gaslighting and we just happen to make video games. I am, like, so disgusted of modern corporations, chat. They don't act like human beings, do they? Like, a normal person doesn't behave this way. Like, if a normal person behaves like this, you would call them a con artist, wouldn't you? Like, if you have, like, let's say a problem with your toilet. A person sells you a toilet, right? And you're installing it in your house, and it's running. And the person comes up, like the plumber, he comes up and it's like, the problem is with your pipes, not with the toilet. And then you're calling other plumbers, you're calling other people, and everyone is saying, no, this toilet is broken. But, like, the plumber would insist, no, it's the pipes. It's the pipe. Like this level of gaslighting, this is... And this is happening with, like, almost every single fucking game lately. It's not just this one. Like, this is just the latest example. And the thing is, like, people caught them with their pants down because you have the open source community. But, like, game after game after game, it comes out. And you notice that, yeah, sure, like, people who have the latest graphic drivers and stuff, like, they're able to run it. Even though, like, you're running it and you hear, like, your graphic driver going, like, and then you gotta pay a kidney to the electric company. Like, you probably need to have an entire turbine next to your house and a nuclear reactor so that it can power your rig in order to play that fucking game. And despite all of this, right, you notice that some people on the forums, they're complaining and they're like, hey, I got this game and it's not working for me. I mean... And immediately, like, the attack does, upgrade your computer, it's your fault, you have a shitty spec, you have a shitty computer. And what's interesting, like, if you look at these individuals. And this is why I genuinely think they're paying shills. Like, unironically, I do believe that part of the marketing that a multi-billion dollar corporation has to spend for his game, a part of that marketing is to hire people on major platforms like Steam in order to carry water. And then they're probably told what to say. They're probably told how to react and what to do. So when they see someone complaining that the game isn't running, they're immediately going to attack them. And it's going to say that, well, you don't have the specs. You need to upgrade your computer. But they don't even fucking know what computer you have. Like, that's the interesting part. They never even ask. It's like, okay, but what do you have? Like, what is your graphics card? Well, have you updated the drivers? What is your CPU? They don't even ask that. They immediately make the accusation that, no, it's actually the fact that you don't have it upgraded. And it's like, okay, if you have the minimum requirements, like, isn't that something that is required when every game is placed on Steam? You're required to tell people the minimum system they require in order to run the fucking game. So if you have that, why shouldn't you be able to run the game? Makes no fucking sense. I'm not even talking about the medium requirements. Like, the minimum, I understand. Like, you're not going to run the game on ultra high if you have the minimum. Like, that's fine. But you should be able to run it at 60 frames per second. And it's not just about the minimum, the medium, the other requirements. It's also the fact that sometimes you get a game that looks like shit, and your graphics card is making enough heat to power a nuclear reactor. And you're wondering, like, but why though? Like, why is this a thing? Why is it that this game, which looks like shit, and there are other games that look like 10 times better, and they don't make my graphic card go so fast that I can cook an egg on it? Why is this a thing, right? And they will say, well, it's because of I don't fucking care, I'm the consumer. You're basically overcharging my CPU. You're overcharging my electricity bill in order to play some garbage that looks like shit, and it doesn't justify the amount of resources that it's expecting to use. And these are conversations that we don't have. You know, this is why they keep pushing for pronouns and they keep pushing for other shit. They would rather you talk about that than to talk about this. Like, I guarantee to you, Bethesda hates it. It despises it when people talk about this. If you talk about pronouns and heel versus babyface, they're fine. That's okay. It won't stop the people from purchasing their other game. But this does stop people from purchasing their games. And this is why they're upset. Because they have to spend money to correct it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. And as usual, don't forget to check the pinned comment. And I will see you later. Take care.